Hello there. Oh, sorry. Hello there. Welcome to Shit Show Saturday, where I take a moment. Well, firstly, I welcome you. Thanks for being here. And then, secondly, I just tell you about my shit show. So, firstly, like I said, thank you for being here. Very excited to wake up today. I had an amazing night's sleep, even though I couldn't get to bed. Paul and I couldn't get to bed till like 2:30. Crazy. But so what I would like to talk about today is memory. So um since I had an accident, was it like over 5 years ago now? I suffered a TBI, so traumatic brain injury. Okay, that's cool, but what? So a little bit a quick-ish way about it. They they didn't think I'd live. They were like, all right, well, she probably won't live the night, but hey, okay. They were like, all right, we'll give her a 5% chance. So funny, when I had my accident, which was I was on a bicycle ride for AIDS Life Cycle training ride. So the ALC train ride goes from San Francisco to LA, 545 miles in 7 days. And we work to raise awareness and money donations to help people with AIDS and HIV. And well, obviously, I do believe it's very important, and I do believe you should check it out too. And I will probably be hitting you up about donating for this next one in 2022 because yes, I plan on riding on my awesome. Well, I got my dream bike, my specialized Ruby Specialized black. I mean, awesome, not just black, matte black. And but I had mine a bit, how do you say, custom. So it's not a regular bike, it's a trike. So I got my, what they call it, back axle replaced. So it's basically I got a grown up trike. What? Hey, I'm trying to get over that. I'm like, what? I got a trike? But you know what? I am thankful that I can ride, and it's finally what I call a stand-up bike. It's like a real bike. So, and now would be a good time to show you photos. Oopsie. That's the thing about I can't plan. Oops. So, well, I can't plan, but okay. Part of TBI, my injury impairments, is the cognitive function, the executive functioning, like planning things out, making decisions, all that is a bit, how should we say, impaired. So that's not awesome. But, oh yeah, so today, basically, I'd like to talk about memory. So I always joke around now and I'm like, yeah, the short-term brain loss, short-term memory loss. I'm like, it is a real thing. If I haven't seen someone in a week, I will forget their name. I feel bad about that because I used to be, like very on top of it. I could remember stuff. Even my little sister Erin, it's like, oh yeah, you've remembered everything, Aubrey. It's like you were the one in the family. You've remembered. And I'm like, so that's cool and all, but then what happens when it's gone? What? So, and it's funny, this morning I was talking to my wife and I was like, it's kind of interesting that I have this short-term memory loss. If I try to remember to do something later on, I'll forget. I mean, gone. But we were having a discussion last night, and I'm like, I remember that. So obviously that's awesome. But I'm like, what is the difference? Like, why is it some things I remember and some things I cannot? So, and that's, well, something I'll research more. So I guess that's a good part of who I am ish. I always thought it was a, how do you call it, a quirk growing up. I'm like, I'm a weirdo. Like, for real? Like, I remember some stuff, but then forget some, well, not that part, mostly research. I'm like, why do I always research things? That's kind of weird, right? I'm like, but speaking of research and figuring things out, I always thought I was more of like a creative type, and I'm like, oh yeah, I was a musician, so yep, I could play guitar, play piano. I was like, what sounds good? Even in college, in theory, my teacher is funny. She loved the way my stuff sound, but then she wanted to mix me and my friend. My friend was very technically, like, followed the rules, made it all sound good. But me, I'm like, oh, or she was, sorry, my friend was all technical and followed the rules. I was like, what sounds good? So I put that out. She was like, if I could combine you two, be the perfect person. So that's another fun thing is I have discovered this past 2 years being married that I'm very black and white. Like, I'm very on or off. Like, I never thought I was that kind of person. I was, like I said, creative, and I do things, and but I'm finding out more that I'm very just black and white. I didn't know that, but now looking at it, I'm like, as a software engineer, it's actually a good thing to have. And it's funny, I always thought there is no way that's why I didn't go into it, because I was like, I am not very, what they call it, analytical. I'm like, oh no, I'm just like free spirited, this or that, but it turns out, I guess I am more analytical than I thought. Funny, you have to have a complete traumatic brain injury and your life needs to be turned upside down for you to get it. But anyways, it's a very interesting thing, I believe, to kind of, well, now find out more about yourself. Like 5 years now after my accident, I was writing last night and thinking about it. I'm like, my life totally changed in an instant. I mean, I was so excited that I had finally found my thing, if you will. I had just, gone through coding boot camp and got a job in San Francisco. And hey, I even got invited to the White House one time, back when it really mattered. Well, and hopefully we'll again now. But these are things that I never dreamed would happen. I mean, little girl from Northwest Florida, aka Higville, like the redneck Riviera, they call it. I'm like, what? I'm just some dork, and that's something my mom actually talked about when I was in the hospital. She's like, most people have to die for people to say good things about them or what they meant. She was like, you are getting to experience this, but you're still alive. So kind of a, whoa, dark-ish. But then I was like, gosh, that's probably one of the best things now I believe that has happened to me, because I was, going along, I'm just some little dork. Well, sometimes dorks rule, and I'm able to use my dorkiness, or, just the things that happen to me, I'm able to use them now, I believe, and try to do it again to make the world a better place. I joke around the commercial I did for the coding boot camp I went to was G School from Galvanize. It's so funny because in that I said, I'm going to change the world. And I still do. But now it's interesting. I find that I've taken a different route, but I'm still on that path, if that makes sense. I've definitely, my life was turned upside down and it's not the same. And I think I was reading something else, and this guy was like, yeah, never thought this would happen. And I'm like, I don't know, it was kind of comforting to me to be like, okay, well, I'm not the first person for this to happen to. I'm not the only, for sure. But what am I going to do with it? And that's what I'd like to ask you. So memory can be an issue. It can be a thing. Circumstance can be an issue. Where are you at? What are you doing? What are your circumstances? What are you doing? What do you want to do? What do you want to be known for? So those are some things I'd like to put out to you and say, what's it going to be? And thank you so much for spending some time with me. I hope help encourage you, and just remember, you're awesome and you're special just the way you are. We're all our own people. It's kind of like me and Paula, my wife. We're just different, but it's awesome. Here I thought a clean, organized person was like, oh man, they were the best thing ever. Well, I still kind of believe that, and she is that. But, this messy, all over the place kind of girl, hey, I got some qualities too. I'm still working on figuring out. But you know what? We all have a special gift inside of us to give. So I would encourage you to look around, to talk to your friends and ask, hey, what do I do that's cool? Maybe you're, even stop and think to yourself, what do I do that I enjoy doing? What does help others? What makes me happy? So, yep, all around the place, I will just land in, tune in, and say, you know what? What is it that makes you happy? How can you make your world a better place? Well, thanks so much for spending time with me. And don't worry, I'm still trying to figure it out. But I'm working on it. But remember, you matter. Your story matters. And you belong here. Cheers.